Welcome, everyone, to Lewisville Leopards recap of week 2, a part of Creating Young Minds, which is the organization that owns the Lewisville Leopards, which is a part of the TBL, which is the Basketball League. Shout out to I Eat Glizzies, which is also hot dogs. I learned that from a past show. Thank you for tuning in tonight. So on tonight's show, we'll be recapping 2 games that we had from the weekend. April the 17th, Lewisville Leopards at the Midtown Prestige. And then we had April the 18th, which we had a game which was the Lewisville Leopards going up against the Outlaws, the Enid Outlaws in Oklahoma. So, these were 2 away games. So Leopards doing some traveling. And we'll get into both of these games, and we'll get into it and break it down. The first game was Lewisville Leopards 101, which is, we talk about that, or I've talked about that a lot when it comes to this particular basketball league and what exactly that they do and the style of play that they have. So this is something that I've always talked about, is just the up and down type of game, being physical, not being afraid to play both ends of the floor. And so this is one of these games in the first one where, it was traditional to what they normally play, and was definitely impressed. So let's get into the first one. Kicking it off, Jared Henderson, before the game started, the commentator mentioned that he was leading in rebounds for the TBL, which is, again, the basketball league going into the weekend. In this particular game, starting point guard Michael Lenore did not play. I was not sure what happened or the reason why he wasn't playing, but he did not play this game on the 17th. So caught me off guard a little bit, was expecting him to play, but he was there in the building. He just did not play. But the Leopards came out and played tough. Austin Wire with the jumper to get the game started. Leopards playing tough defense early. Aaron Scales, I want to give a shout out to Aaron Scales. He is the 6'8" center of the Midtown Prestige. He was having quite a good game, and he was playing like a beast down low. So I wanted to give him a shout out. You got to give a shout out on both sides. So I wanted to do that. Mike Zeno, love the name. He's a member of the Midtown Prestige. Again, we're talking about the TBL, which is the Basketball League. You can go to the website, thebasketballleague.net, so that you can check out all of the teams. More than likely, there is probably a team in your area. So I would highly suggest that you go check it out. You'll see down at the bottom, scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, you see the Basketball League website. Also, you will see the creatingyoungminds.org website. So the Midtown Prestige was off to a pretty good start. And the Leopards end up being down in the first. Leopards started off down early by 10. A little surprising there. Marcus Brooks with some key minutes in the first, 5 early points. He really looked good in this at the beginning of this game. So I was really happy to see him getting some good minutes and getting out there. At the end of the first, it was 29-24. The Prestige was up. Going into the second, that was when the Leopards really went into kind of that next gear. And I was impressed with how they were playing in the second. They cut the lead to 3, Midtown, great hustle plays. I was impressed with this Midtown Prestige team. To give you a little bit of background, the Leopards were, at this point on Saturday, they were 0-2, looking for their first win. The Midtown Prestige was also looking for their first win. So it was, one of these games where both teams were looking to get that first W, which you're always wanting to, to get that monkey off your back, get that first win, and then from there on, you can kind of run with it. So Marcus Brooks and Jermichael Hawkins of the Midtown Prestige were going back and forth. Was liking both of their games, really, really going at it. To me, I think that's great basketball. Jared Henderson hits a 3. He's been working on that. I wanted to point that out. I know him as a dunker. Some of you, if you guys have watched and you've seen some of the highlights, you know him as a dunker. But he was also hitting a couple threes, which I was definitely have to say. I was impressed by that. And I think he is a big-time talent. He is a big-time talent in this, not only for the Lewisville Leopards, but also for this league as a whole. Tremaine Thomas leading the team in points, taking a big and one with contact. That is definitely the name of the game. And Tremaine Thomas was definitely balling out, man. He had, I think, his best game that I've seen in watching Creating Young Minds, also the Lewisville Leopards. So I was definitely impressed with his play. Leopards take the lead. This was a major point in the game, with them being able to take that lead and being able to, come out and state their claim and come out forceful like they always do. So Leopards take the lead. Kevin Big Shot Booze, getting buckets in the second quarter. Defense started to pick up. And like I said, you started to see this Lewisville Leopards team play the traditional basketball that they normally play, which is up and down, back and forth, physical, playing the full length of the court. Not part of the court, but the full length of the court. And that's one of those things that this team is truly known for. Jetpack Jay started to heat up. Said he was hitting, he hit a couple threes. He was also playing well on with his traditional dunks that he has in every game. It was 70-65 at the half. Leopards were up by 5. Going into the third, Leopards up by 10 in the third. So that's when they started to pull away. And that's one thing about this team. When they start to pull away, that is a problem. That's a problem. When that starts to happen, it is going to be hard to defend, and it's going to be hard to be able to keep up with these guys, because they're just that type of team that when they get a lead, there's going to be no trying to catch up. There's going to be no being able to try to come back. That's what this team is. Mike Zeno making baskets. Oh, actually, he made a basket in the wrong basket. So they had a tip ball or a jump ball, and he gets the ball. But what he also ends up doing is making the basket in the wrong basket. I haven't seen that in a game in a while. That's got to suck, especially if you are him. You don't want that to be you. You don't want it to happen, but most importantly, you don't want it to be you. Leopards defense picking up and getting offensive rebounds. Also Bolshevik getting rebounds. Jared Henderson, Aziz Fadika, all of these guys were just playing to their level and doing what I know that they can do, and I'm sure what Coach Mathis Crowder knows that they can do as well. Leopards' energy is up big. Tremaine Thomas with big threes in the third. Leopards following up after their shot. That's basketball one-on-one. And that was particularly Bolshevik following up after his shot. That's I remember that in high school. If you miss or make it, follow up, try to get the rebound. That's what they were doing. As you can see behind me, we have the TBL logo right here. the website is scrolling down below. Also, we have Lewisville Leopards over here, which is owned by the Creating Young Minds organization. You can check out that website, click that down below. Also, support the Lewisville Leopards. So in this league, they sell merch, they sell jerseys, but the players get a percentage of how much the jersey sells. So if you go to the TBL, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and if you're watching this and you're listening to me, help support these guys. So definitely playing better in this game. I had that down in my notes. The past 2 games, they really did not look like themselves. But this game coming out, they looked a lot better. Jetpack J with another dunk. It was 101-86 at the end of the third. When you start to go in that direction, like I said, this team is pretty much impossible to catch when that happens. Just the plain and simple truth. Chase Winchester heating up in the fourth. Leopards pulled away and took care of business for their first W. Congratulations to them. Get that first one off your back. Of many more. I believe they will have many more wins in this league and in this season. But I think, most importantly, you got to get that first one off your back. And then after that, you can start to see what works, what doesn't work. And I know that they will figure it out. I think they have an extremely talented team. And I'm excited to see what they do, going forward throughout this league. But they're exciting to watch, and they're an exciting team that I think can only get better. That's the most important thing. As long as you're getting better, as long as you're not regressing backwards, that's a good thing. So we're talking about week 2 of the Lewisville Leopards season in the TBL. Let's go ahead and get to the end of the game, 128-107. Leopards win, a big win, first win of the season. Like I said, definitely something that everybody on the team was excited about. That was a great sight to see. I definitely have to say that. But like I said, it's first of many. It's a very early season. There's a lot more basketball to get to. Let's go ahead and get to the stat sheet. We go to the Midtown Prestige first. Jermichael Hawkins at 25. He was the top leading scorer. Chris Whitfield had 18 in the game. He was the second leading scorer. Aaron Scales, like I said, the 6'8" big man, had 14. And then also another leading scorer, you had Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown had 13. And then Mike Zeno, I brought him up. He had 11. So their starting 5 scored in double digits. So that's a good day. Now, they didn't end up winning, but their starting 5 scored. Now, let's go over to the winning side. My guys. Tremaine Thomas with a huge day, 31 points. I think, like I said, the best game I think I've seen him play. He had 2 threes on the day, 7 for 10 from the free throw line, had 13 rebounds, 7 offensive, 6 defensive, and 3 assists. He played his best game of my entire time watching this organization in this league. So big shout out to him. He led the team and he led the game in scoring. He was the game leading scorer. Jared Henderson with 27 doing his thing like always, man. 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He went 1 for 2 from the 3, 8 for 12 from the field. Had a really good game. Austin Wire, 16 points. He also had 9 rebounds, almost had a double-double. Chase Winchester with 15. 9 steals. You heard that right. 9. Count them. 9 steals, Chase Winchester. Almost had a double-double with steals and points. That's what you call a baller right there. That's what you call a gamer. That's what you call somebody that can play on both ends of the floor. And that's what you call a team that plays on both ends. Kevin Booz with 12 points. Big Shot Booz with 12 points. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line, hit all of his free throws. Did not hit any threes, but he had 12 points, 5 assists. He had 6 steals. So, again, playing on both ends. Balsa Bolshevik with 9. Marcus Brooks with 9. Aziz Fadika with 6. And then Brandon McElvey with 3. He hit a 3 in the game. So that ends that game, and they got their first W. So that's a good day. That's a good day when you can get your first W. And I'm happy for them. Now, let's get to game 2, which was on Sunday. Now, just to be completely real, this game did not go well at all. It just did not go well at all. And I was kind of shocked at how the game went because of how well the game on the 17th, the day before went. But like I said, this is a long season. So those of you watching a part of the Lewisville Leopards, keep your heads up. You got a long season to go. It's not over with yet. And let's get back. Let's get back to work, fellas. Let's get back to work. Tremaine Thomas. So this game was the Lewisville Leopards versus the Enid Outlaws, which is in Enid, Oklahoma. It was a nice broadcast. Now the game on Saturday, let me give a shout out to those guys. That broadcast was done beautifully. I mean, it was done beautifully. Now we don't have any highlights tonight, but I'm going to give you my analysis. We should have some highlights next week because we will have kind of a double header. We'll have the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League games, and then also we'll have the Lewisville Leopards game. So be on tap for next week. Same time, same channel. So Sherman Thomas kicks it off with the first points. Leopards out to an early lead, 3-0. And then Chase Comanche stepped on the scene. He had the first points of many. Leopards were having just major trouble being able to stop Chase Comanche. So that was shout out to my man Courtney Harden in the building. He says, "What's up, BS3?" He's a part of BS3 Radio as well. Has a show called The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. You can find that on BS3Radio.com. Also, he does live shows throughout, the week, and you can find them on YouTube. CJ Harden 79. Also, The Real Deal, which is on Facebook and also on Twitter. And man, he does his thing. He definitely does his thing. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Chase Comanche went off this game. And unfortunately, the Leopards just did not have an answer. They just didn't. There's really no other way to cut it or slice it. Leopards having trouble stopping Comanche throughout the entire game. Wayne Runnels getting buckets early. Leopards playing sloppy in the first. And this was not characteristic of this team. That is to me why it was mind-boggling, because this is not how they normally play. So I think this is a one-off. Let's get back to the drawing board. We'll be coming back with 2 home games coming up this weekend. So let's do it. Let's do it. They know how to play ball. I've been covering this organization and this team long enough to know that they can play with the best of them. Leopards were looking like the teams playing against the undiscovered team in the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. So I say that because if you've watched any of these, which some of you have, the undiscovered team in the Undiscovered League was the best team. Every team they played against, they won. And it looked like the Leopards kind of ran into a buzzsaw in this particular game from Sunday. Kyle Stewart getting buckets for the Enid Outlaws. Outlaws have a ton of weapons, man. They have a ton of weapons, and that is no joke at every position. It was 39-11, Outlaws leading at the end of the first. And it was a huge hole. Honestly, it was a huge hole for the Leopards to get out of. And they did everything that they possibly could, but it was just not their night. Sometimes in this game of basketball, it is just not your night. They were down by 20. Outlaws were pouring it on, and Leopards just could not counter. The second quarter, it was 52-23. Wayne Reynolds working the Euro step, which I think is one of the best moves in basketball at this point. Outlaws playing solid D. Chase Comanche playing down low like a grown man. It's like a grown man against boys. And I think when it came down to it, the down low game, Leopards were not able to match it. They didn't have anybody to the size of Comanche. Comanche was playing above the rim. And there was a lot of times that he was open and just had a clear lane to the hole. Nothing just seemed to be dropping for my guys, the Lewisville Leopards. Nothing seemed to be dropping for them. I know, again, that they are better than this, and I know that they will come back this next weekend and be ready to go. Outlaws having so many bigs, it's just hard to guard. It was 69-35 at halftime. Enid Outlaws were up. Can the Lewisville Leopards come back? That was my question. And where is the Leopards defense? That was another question because, like I said, traditionally they are pushing the pace and the teams are just getting outworked. And it just did not happen this week. Chase Comanche eating the Leopards alive. Gabe Hobbs getting some key minutes. It was good to see him on the floor. And when he got in, it did bring a spark. I definitely want to say that. When he got into the game, it brought a little bit of a spark that I think that they needed, especially just how this game was going. This is one of those games where you're ready for it to be ready for the bleeding to stop. Chase Comanche, I already mentioned him. Chase Winchester starting to heat up in the fourth, but it was just a little too late, or actually in the third. It was 109-53 at the end of the third. Outlaws pulling further ahead in the fourth. Omega Harris and Charlie McQuartet heating up in the fourth, and Enid Outlaws win 152-76 over the Lewisville Leopards. This was a tough loss. You know, the first two games were close. The first two games were close. This game was just flat out not. It was not close at all. It was not close at all. This was a little bit more difficult to watch, but they will be back next week. Let's get to the stat sheet so you can see the rundown of how the numbers went. Chase Comanche, I've been calling his name, 43 points, 11 rebounds. Just had one heck of a night. Wayne Reynolds with 25. Charlie McQuartet had 24. Omega Harris had 17. Kyle Stewart had 13. And then let me get to this. Lindy Waters had 10. So their starting five definitely got into double digits. Going to the Lewisville Leopards side, we had two players in double digits. Chase Winchester, like I said, he was starting to heat up towards the end of the game. He had 22. Austin Wire with 15. Jared Henderson with 9. Tremaine Thomas with 7. Marcus Brooks with 6. Bolshevik with 5, as well as Gabe Hobbs and Michael Lenore with 5. So it was not the best of games. Like I said, they'll be back. Chase Winchester hit 4 threes in the game. Leading rebounder, Jared Henderson. Let me pull up the stats, the leaders in the stats. And Jared Henderson is leading the TBL, an average total of 13.5 rebounds, so he's doing his thing. Chase Comanche, I mentioned his name. He is leading the league in points, 32.5. Lewisville Leopards offensive rebounds. Jared Henderson has 5.3. He is third. And let me see if the Leopards are anywhere else on the list. But rebounds, steals. Chase Winchester is leading the league in steals with 4.3. So the defense is showing up. They just did not have a good day. But I guarantee you they'll be back and ready to go. So that brings us to the end of the show. Coming up next week for the Lewisville Leopards, they will have 2 games on tap on the 23rd and the 24th. 23rd, which is a Friday at 6 p.m. and then Saturday at 2 p.m. On Friday, they'll be playing Little Rock, and on the 24th, they'll be playing Shreveport. So looking forward to those games. I think they will definitely bounce back. I don't see this as a team that's going to stay down. I don't see this as a team that won't be ready to play going into this next week. So the Shreveport Mavericks, they'll be playing on Saturday, and then the Little Rock Lightning, they'll be playing on Friday. And if you want to catch those games, go to thebasketballleague.net. You see the link scrolling down below. You want to learn about creating young minds, go to creatingyoungminds.org. Have a great rest of your evening. At the top of the hour, we're going to segment 2 of BS3 Radio with the forecast, which is myself, Doc, Wilkes, and H-Rap B. We will be reviewing a documentary or a docu-series called Exterminate All the Brutes. This is about to get really real. This series is extremely deep. So thank you all for tuning in tonight live, or if you're watching it after it is over. I will be back next week, same time, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Stay tuned for the forecast coming up in just a minute. Thank you. God bless. God is love. Peace.